On November 13th, 2012, Call of Duty ventured into the future for the very first time. Please ignore the fact that COD 4 released in 2007 and it takes place in 2011, and Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 released in 2009 and 2011, and they take place in 2016 and 2017. Black Ops 2 took place in the, at the time, far-off year of 2025. And now that it's actually 2025, I thought it'd be fun to go back and look at some of the stuff that Treyarch predicted would be around in 2025. There's 21 topics that I want to talk about, and I'll be giving Black Ops 2 a point for everything it got right. And by the end, we'll see if Treyarch were on the money or they were just wrong. Before I begin, I just want to clarify, I won't be going over, like, the normal weapons in the game, like the M8A1, for example, because stuff like that, that's like an entirely separate video. Also, I got channel memberships, and if you like the video, drop a like. Okay, let's begin. The Claw. The Claw, aka the Cognitive Land Assault Weapon, is a large, walking tank-like drone that are seen being used in most of the 2025 levels in Black Ops 2. They come equipped with miniguns and grenade launchers, and sometimes they even have flamethrowers built into them. There also seems to be some kind of trophy system or smoke launcher on it, but whatever this is, it's not actually used in-game. So obviously, Claw drones don't exist in real life. But are there drones like it in service? No. When it comes to large ground drones, they're never walkers, and instead they use tank treads or wheels. The closest things that currently exist to Claw drones are UGV drones and the Gladiator Tug V. But none of them are walkers, and aren't nearly as well armored as the Claw. There is the Uran 9, which is a Russian-built tank-sized drone with a bunch of missiles and machine guns on it, but this thing is literally a drone tank, not a drone-like tank. Also, you have to manually control it, whereas the Claws can operate independently. There are military robot dog things that exist right now, but they're mainly just for scouting out areas and carrying items. There are currently tests about equipping them with like assault rifles and rocket launchers, but they're only tests as of right now, and regardless, these robot dogs are much smaller than the Claw drones, and practically have no armor at all. The AGR. The AGR, or as it's called in the campaign, the ASD, are small drones with tank treads that roll around firing machine guns on one side and missiles on the other. They appear in a bunch of the campaign, being used by friendly forces and enemy forces alike. While AGRs obviously don't exist in real life, are there any drones that look or act just like them? Well, yes, actually. The closest thing to them is either the Swords robots or the Mars robots. These look and act very similar to the AGR, though instead of missiles, they fire grenades. And these robots have to be manually controlled, whereas the AGR can operate independently. Regardless, I'm going to give Black Ops 2 a point here. The MK-27 Dragonfire. Arguably the most iconic drone featured in Black Ops 2, the MQ-27 Dragonfire drone, or quad rotor as it's known in the campaign, is a small aerial drone that's mounted with a machine gun and mini rocket launcher. As you probably have guessed, yes, there are nearly identical drones being used right now in 2025. Some of which are armed with machine guns, some with grenades or missiles, while others just straight up have like an assault rifle or light machine gun mounted to the bottom of them. In fact, there's drones being developed during the Russian-Ukraine war that have machine guns and rocket launchers mounted to them, so I'm gonna give Black Ops 2 a point here. VTOLs. I like to call the era of Call of Duty games between Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 3 the Osprey VTOL era of COD, as in each game, helicopters take the backseat to either standard Ospreys, jet-powered VTOLs, or helicopter VTOL hybrids. The VTOL in Black Ops 2 is an Osprey-like vehicle that uses jet engines instead of propellers. Obviously, Ospreys exist in real life. In fact, they're actually technically VTOLs, as VTOL simply stands for Vertical Takeoff and Landing. But there's no Osprey in real life that trades out propellers for jet engines. Technically, a VTOL like this could theoretically exist, but there's really no reason to make them, as jet engines, while they would make the Ospreys faster, they would also make the Ospreys less efficient. And since the replacement for the Black Hawk helicopter in the United States military is a VTOL-like craft that has propellers, it doesn't seem like a jet engine Osprey is something that militaries are interested in. The Galvaknuckles. Appearing in Zombies as the Galvaknuckles, and the campaign as the Combatant Suppression Knuckles, the Galvaknuckles are brass knuckle-like weapons that are essentially tasers you punch people with. They're used in the game's Strike Force missions, and the campaign levels Karma and Odysseus. So, do taser boxing gloves exist in real life? Well, yes actually. Tasers shaped like brass knuckles have existed for a little while now, and while no military, PMC group, or police force use them, they do exist, almost identically to how they're portrayed in Black Ops 2, so I'm going to give Black Ops 2 a point. The Data Glove. The interactive wrist-mounted display, or data glove, is an ARM-mounted computer that can be modified to attach the M360 Grenade launcher. More on that later. These tablet-like devices allow users to hack nearby electronics, record audio, video call, and call in reinforcements. So, do these ARM-mounted computers exist in real life? Kinda. Obviously, there's stuff like smartwatches, but I'm talking more about an actual ARM-mounted laptop. While no militaries use them, independent engineers have created prototype versions of computers mounted on your arm. Some companies do use ARM-mounted computers, like the Motorola WT4090, but they're not really that advanced. The more advanced ones are still being prototyped by engineers. So while these things will probably be possible in the future, right now they just don't exist in a large enough state that I'd give Black Ops 2 a point here. Oh yeah, and these data gloves also can be equipped with grappling hooks. And yeah, something like that doesn't really exist right now. Kinetic Strike Weapon. Many people believe that Call of Duty Ghosts was the first Call of Duty game to feature kinetic bombardment. And while it's the first game to feature it in a major capacity, Black Ops 2 actually has it beat. In the final level of the game, Judgment Day, you can find an iPad that allows you to call in a kinetic bombardment strike. It's also featured in the Strike Force mission IED. Now, for those that don't know what kinetic bombardment weapons are, they're a hypothetical weapon thought up during the Cold War. The idea is that there's a satellite in space containing large rods, and the satellite can fire these rods at targets on Earth. And because of the kinetic energy from the rods, when the rods hit the ground, they would cause an insane amount of damage. So, does this exist in 2025? No. No kinetic bombardment weapon systems have ever been created. Optical Camouflage. Featured numerous times throughout the campaign, the Optical Camouflage is a uniform that you put on and you become invisible. It's quite literally just an invisibility suit. Though at close range, you can still be seen, it's just like really hard to actually see you. So, do we have invisibility suits in 2025? No. This is one of the things from Black Ops 2 that I doubt will ever be real. The M360 Grenade Launcher. Featured exclusively in the 2025 levels of Black Ops 2, the XM31 is a grenade that's fired out of the M360 Grenade Launcher. This is a wrist-mounted grenade launcher that has grenades loaded into it via a magazine. They can also fire Semtex grenades in select missions. So, do wrist-mounted grenade launchers exist in real life? Yes, kinda. Not really. While something like this could theoretically exist, all examples of it existing in real life right now are airsoft guns. Nobody's built an actual wrist-mounted grenade launcher, and by extension, no military uses them. Probably because, outside of the cool factor, these things would be insanely impractical. The Storm PSR. Featured heavily in the campaign level Chorus Dia, the Storm PSR is a 3-barreled sniper rifle that can fire up to 5 rounds at a time. You can actually select how much force the gun fires the rounds by charging the weapon. The scope also has an X-ray ability to see people behind a cover. So, does a weapon like the Storm PSR exist in real life? No. There's obviously high-piercing sniper rifles in real life, but you can't just charge them to change how hard the bullets will fire. And the X-ray scope is also fictional, though maybe one day one could exist, as there are currently X-ray-like machines that can allow soldiers to see through walls, but they're either extremely bulky or they're goggles, not a scope. Interestingly, the Storm PSR is actually based on weapons developed by the company Metal Storm. In fact, you can actually see Metal Storm written on the PSR, which implies that in universe they built the weapon. Though Metal Storm shut down in 2012, so them making a charged fire sniper rifle in 2025 is a bit unrealistic. The Titus VI. Featured heavily in the campaign level Celerium, the Titus VI is a burst-fire special weapon that fires explosive darts, and can be switched to being a burst-fire shotgun. Obviously, the Titus VI doesn't exist in real life, but are there weapons like this in real life? Kinda. I'm gonna give this one a half point, because there are weapons that do fire explosive darts, but they're mainly, if not exclusively, fired from helicopters or anti-tank weapons. There have been dart-firing handheld guns in the past, such as the APS amphibious rifle and the prototype Steyr ACR, but they weren't explosive. So yes, weapons that fire darts, or flechettes, do exist, but no explosive flechette handheld weapon currently exists. EMP Grenade. Introduced into the Call of Duty series with Modern Warfare 3, the EMP Grenade returns in Black Ops 2, and is exactly what it sounds like. It's a grenade that produces a mini EMP upon detonation, though it's not a permanent EMP, as electronics affected by it will eventually come back online. So, do EMP grenades exist? No. It is possible to create mini EMPs, but there hasn't been a grenade version of this. I'm no engineer, but maybe something like this could exist one day, but there's no real reason for militaries to try and create them. If they want to take out electronics, they're just going to use grenades. The Colossus. The Colossus is a giant floating resort located near the Cayman Islands. So, are there any giant floating resorts in real life? No. While obviously there are resorts that are built on water, there's nothing even remotely to the scale of the Colossus in real life. Not only that, but the Colossus isn't attached to anything. It's literally a giant boat or raft of sorts that floats on the water. It's not connected to the mainland or even the ocean floor. There are concept designs for resorts like this, but again, they're just designs. Nothing like this has ever been built, and frankly, I don't think something like this will ever be built, because it's just impractical. If it was like an oil rig and it was like attached to the ocean floor, then maybe, but an entirely floating island just seems like a bad idea. Ads changing to place you in them. Featured very briefly in the level Karma, there's advertisements that will change the model of the person on screen to whoever is looking at it, as a way of saying, hey, this is what you would look like if you bought these sunglasses, or if you had this surgery, or whatever. So, are there ads like this in real life? Not yet, but let's be real. Sadly, something like this is probably going to become real one day. VTOL Jet. Now, obviously, VTOL jets exist in real life, as that's what Harrier jets are. What I mean by this entry is the civilian-operated VTOL jet seen at the very beginning of the level Karma. This jet looks like a normal passenger plane, except for the fact that there's no jet engines on the wings. Instead, two large propellers are inside of the wing, which allow it to operate like a VTOL. So, do any jets like this exist in real life? No. There are concept designs being developed by companies such as Ascendance Flight Technologies that are similar to the design featured in the game, but they're just concept designs. Nothing has been built yet. Glider wings. Featured heavily in the level Judgment Day, glider wings are a mix between hang gliders, a parachute, and a wingsuit. They allow you to fall from a great height and glide across large distances, and upon nearing the ground, you activate the engine on the glider wings, which will lift you in the air and slowly place you down onto the ground. So, do glider wings like this exist in real life? Not exactly. The closest thing to these glider wings in real life is the Griffin, which acts extremely similar to the glider wings. But there's one problem with them. They never left the developmental stage. In fact, I can't find any information about these wingsuits past the year 2009, so it's very possible that this program has since been abandoned. Because of this, I can't give the glider wings a point. The Guardian. The Guardian is a stationary turret that, instead of shooting bullets, fires out a cone of microwave radiation. This score streak is actually based on the real-life active denial system, a directed energy weapon created by the US military, and is currently being used by both the US military and police forces. So, that's a point for Black Ops 2. Right? Not exactly. While these microwave turrets do exist, they're exclusively mounted on vehicles or buildings. As of right now, there are no portable turret versions of this weapon. Because of this, I'll give the Guardian a half a point. The Escort Drone. The Escort Drone is a drone helicopter in multiplayer that follows around the player when called in. It's basically your own personal guard helicopter piloted by nobody. So, do helicopter-sized drones like this exist in real life? Yes and no. Large helicopter drones have been a thing for a while, like the MQ-8 Fire Scout. However, these drones don't normally have any weapons mounted on them. There are helicopter drones right now being developed by China and Israel that do have weapons mounted on them, but not only are they still being developed, but they're also not helicopter-sized. They're fairly small. So I'll be nice and give the Escort Drone a half point. Ziggy. Ziggy is a tiny spider-like drone that only has 6 legs instead of 8 that's used in the level Karma. It's manually controlled by the player and is armed with a taser. It can also climb on walls and jump. We also know that Ziggy is powered by an RTG battery, which most likely means a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, which kinda tells you whether or not robots like Ziggy exist in 2025. These kinds of generators are pretty big, so a mini version of it that can fit into a tiny little spider robot is probably not even possible. But let's take out the RTG unit. Let's say Ziggy is powered by normal batteries or something. Does something like this exist? No. There are tiny bug-like drones in real life, like the ones based on dragonflies and mosquitoes, but nothing like a spider. And none of these are equipped with tasers. The USS Barack Obama. So this is a very easy one. The USS Barack Obama is an aircraft carrier that serves as the setting for the level Odysseus, along with it being the background for the campaign's main menu. Obviously, aircraft carriers exist in real life. But is there an aircraft carrier named after President Barack Obama? No. I have no doubt that there will eventually be one in the future, but as of right now, there's no aircraft carrier or battleship named after Obama. The most recent president to receive an aircraft carrier named after them is the USS George W. Bush. It doesn't currently exist, but it's planned to begin construction in 2027. The Second Cold War. So the background conflict of Black Ops 2 is a second Cold War, with one side consisting of NATO, while the other one consists of China, North Korea, Pakistan, and Haiti. And countries like Iran, Afghanistan, Russia, and India can be swayed onto either side of the Cold War depending on your actions in the game. In fact, you could actually get China to join your side depending on the ending, which I imagine ends the Second Cold War, because I don't think Pakistan, North Korea, and Haiti can really compete with NATO, Russia, and China combined. So, are we in a second Cold War? Maybe. I don't know. No Cold War has ever been declared, but plenty of historians, political commentators, and even politicians have described the world stage as being in a second Cold War. That being said, though, there's also been plenty of historians, political commentators, and politicians who have said, no, we're not in a second Cold War. So, I'm not going to give Black Ops 2 a point here. So, what's Black Ops 2's score? 4.5 out of 21. Yeah, Treyarch did not do a good job at predicting where the world would be at in 2025. But in Treyarch's defense, I don't actually think that they were trying to predict the tech of 2025. Instead, I think they just wanted to do a futuristic Call of Duty game that tied in with Black Ops 1, so it had to take place in the near future. But they wanted more futuristic stuff, so they took designs and recent events from the 2000s and applied them to the 2020s. For example, in 2003, the US Air Force proposed a kinetic strike weapon. The Griffin wings were in development in the 2000s. The Swords robots were designed in the 2000s. Barack Obama became president in 2009, and Metalstorm was still producing technology in the 2000s. Basically, Black Ops 2 shows a 2025 that was envisioned by world militaries and arm manufacturers of the 2000s. Which makes it very weird that this stupid Call of Duty universe is now a thing, because Modern Warfare 3 takes place in 2023, with its post-launch story taking place in 2024. And while the Guardian and Drone Swarm were added to Modern Warfare 3 in an attempt to make Black Ops 2's vision of 2025 make more sense in universe, it doesn't really work because the Modern Warfare reboot trilogy is based on tech in use right now, not what militaries and arm manufacturers thought that tech was going to look like in 2025. I wonder if Modern Warfare 4 will acknowledge Black Ops 2? I guess we'll find out in 2026. Anyways, thank you to my channel members, Maurice Deceased, Adam Depp, Digital Medic, Lone Thunder, Jordan Tubby, The Mr. Train Track, Cowboy Tuba, Solid Fricky, Steven, Killam, King Fenrir 1987, Wojtek Watchkiewicz, Infinity Mark, Papega, Domeshot 529, Sailor Stell, Mano, JMax Air, Guardian of Brooklyn, Dats J, Cody Lester, Milo the Mighty, Nora, Goat449, Hunter Gentle, Metaphysical Loaf of Bread, Games with Toasty, Moxie, Jesse Aguilar, The Epic Rager, Nathan Tench, Vel V, Titana Boa Hunter, Ismail IXQ8, Jersey Devil, Super Blake Films, Daniel Valle, Joey Joe, Mr. Monitor, Spencer Estes, Timorum Nile, John McIntyre, and Jamin Miller. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good one. Stay safe and all that, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be the Fallout Iceberg. Probably. Maybe I'll make one in between, but it'll probably be the Fallout Iceberg.
Your life is in danger! Terrorists are coming for you now!
Terrorists? What are you talking about?
Chloe! They've been sent by Raul Menendez!